Okay, so we're Bus Buddy, and we have a lot of different components to kind of our app. We got 2 devices since there's a group of 7 of us, and so we're playing with it. We wanted to use the low energy Bluetooth possibility, and so our idea is that there's a app that people can download on their phone. But then there's also 2 devices that interface with each other. One that would be on a bus, and one that would be on each bus stop. So the idea is that when the bus goes by a stop, it triggers the bus to run down a list and alert people who may have picked a specific stop that their stop is coming up next. Luckily, we live in Portland, so we have a really great bus infrastructure, and I enjoy it every day. But unfortunately, many other places, they don't have a display or anything to really alert people. And we're kind of thinking about people who are in more remote areas, who aren't as socioeconomically, advantaged. Anyway, so he's setting up the device on the bus, hopefully that we can show you. But this is kind of a mock-up of what maybe the mobile app will look like. And we would have to build an app that can detect specifically low energy Bluetooth signals. That's not something that your phone can just do on its own, so it would be a pretty complex app to make eventually. But the idea is, like, if you get to the bus stop, and the Bluetooth on the stop will let you know what buses run. And so you can pick from a list, bus 15 or what have you. And then when you get on the bus, there's another signal from the bus device where you're allowed to pick, it has all its routes. So say you want to pick this one and you hit go, it gives you an estimated time of travel until your stop. And then I just have it set at a very specific time for it to go off, but then this alarm goes off. You can't really hear it, but yeah. And then you hit stop the bus, and you could either pull the cord to stop the bus, or maybe it's another Bluetooth signal that sends from your phone to the bus to let it know that it wants you to get off, or that you want to get off. So I'll pass this to Preet.
So the technology consists of 2, the mobile app and then a device that sits on the bus and a device that sits at the station. We originally started playing with Bluetooth low energy to get it so that when the bus passes the station, it pairs and triggers the automatic notifications. We were able to get them to connect through command line, but ran into issues with actually syncing them. So what we did is we replicated the transaction that's going to happen with the buttons. So you can see here, the one on the left is the bus, and one on the right is the station. And when they pass, these are the displays that are going to show. And also here is the colors. So that it's color coded, so that when they switch, the colors also change, so that they can be identified. They can be notified by the color. That's a little easier than otherwise. And it was built. The station with setup was built using C++ because there's plenty of people on our team who use that, and then the main application was built using Node.js that plugs into the Cylon Robotics library, which is a cross-platform. It plugs into about 40 different robotic platforms, such as Raspberry Pi, Arduinos, Sphera, the Intel IoT Analytics Cloud, MQQT, just a variety of different services, so that it's very expandable. And they also have, it's open source. This one is a Node.js library, but they also have sister programs with Go and Ruby, so that you can really expand this out in many different ways.
Can you guys tell me about where you got the data for the bus stop stops and the routes, or where you would plan to get the data? Is it from the cities, or did you?
Just hold it up.
So you
Well,
also have
testing.
to stand back, actually.
Okay, so well, the concept is that the device on the bus station would provide the data.
Okay, so like the bus department, or the cities,
Yeah, I mean, well,
basically.
yeah, every bus stop would have its own device and it would be receiving or sending data. So once a bus comes close enough for a connection, the bus would send data through either Bluetooth or some other channel to the bus stop, and the bus stop, which is one of the displays, would provide, I guess, bus number, route information. So it's a two-way communication of transferring data.
The idea being that it's a modular system, so if this is being deployed in a city that has advanced civic APIs that has bus data, it can be plugged into it. But on the flip side, if it's being deployed in a remote village that does not have, easy data connectivity, it could also just be programmed directly onto the board, because bus routes are something that exists somewhere on paper. And for the demo, it's just a simple JSON data file that so you could put it into a simple database with all the stop information. But if you have access to it, it could definitely be built out to pull in outside APIs.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.